Attention passionate Dallas Cowboys fans. Latest news. Something big is happening in the NFC East, and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another championship run. A power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 8,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Dallas Cowboys fans. Let's get to the news now. Folks, if you watched that game on Sunday in the T-Stadium, you know it was one of those wild, nerve-wracking edge-of-your-seat kind of contests. A 40-40 tie against the Green Bay Packers that left Cowboys fans both proud and a little frustrated at the same time. Because let us be honest, no one wants to see a tie in a season where every win counts, especially when you try to climb to the top of the NFC standings. But man, what a game. It was the kind of game that reminds you why we love football. Full of drama, resilience, and moments that make your heart race. And at the center of it all, of course, was our quarterback, Dak Prescott, who came out swinging and delivered a performance that's worth dissecting in detail. Dak completed 31 of 40 passes for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. A stat line that on paper looks impressive. But what really stands out is his leadership during the game, especially in those clutch moments. After the game, Dak was candid and honest in his post-game interview, saying, "You don't play the game for ties. I don't care about the stats, the ups and downs, the eats and flows. I just care about the end result." And you could tell that even with such a tough result, he is still hungry, still determined to find ways to improve. It is that relentless competitive spirit that makes him such a vital piece of this Cowboys puzzle. He went on to reflect on the rarity of a tie in his career, mentioning that it is the first one he has experienced in a decade. "It is hard to wrap my head around it because I know I'd feel a lot worse if it was a loss," he admitted. But what is really insightful is his focus on the bigger picture, the team's resilience, the fight they showed, and how they stayed together even when the game hung in the balance. It has that kind of mentality that coaches and fans alike want to see from their leader. Dak pointed out that it is all about the fight, about believing in each other, and about building from these tough moments. And that last play of regulation, oh, that was something. Watching it live, it seemed like an impossible scramble with Dak trying to extend the play, trying to find a window, trying to make something happen. And he said, "Just being honest, didn't he know that was Micah on my back? And didn't he think I was going to get to the end zone? I was trying to get as much as I can." That the kind of instinct, that grit, that fight that defines Dak Prescott. Even in those chaotic moments, he is thinking about about giving his team a chance. And when asked if he thought the game was over after Green Bay's incomplete pass in overtime, he was brutally honest 1,000%. "I thought just the way they got up to the line. I didn't even want to say without urgency because there was some. But then I realized that they were not spiking it and they were going to take an opportunity at the end zone. He get it out immediately, and the ball hung, especially when it went off Sanborn's back. I thought it was going to hit zero for sure." That is Dak, always aware, always fighting to the last second. But beyond the playmaking, what is really exciting is the potential of this team. Dak believes they can be explosive, a monster team, as he put it. "We get some stops in the way this offense is playing. Defense can slow down. They play in good defense. It is just the big plays here and there that put them behind. And now their backs are against the wall and they reign in the red zone." That is a key point because the Cowboys' defense, especially with Micah Parsons leading the charge, has been a force to reckon with. Parsons, who has been an absolute gimmicker, has been frustrated at times with how last season ended, but he is back and hungrier than ever. And Dak has full faith in the defensive coordinator Matt Eber and the entire unit to come up with those crucial stops when it matters most. Now, let us talk about the offense. Dak emphasized the importance of starting faster, doing what they've been practicing all week, establishing rhythm and putting pressure on opponents early. Start faster on offense and do things like we've done this week and other than last week. We can be an explosive team. He said it is about consistency, about building that momentum from the outset, and about making sure the team is firing on all cylinders, whether that is the passing game, the running game, or the offensive line. And speaking of the line, Dak praised their effort, noting, "It goes back to the plan I told you guys on Thursday that LLB, all hands on deck, whether it be the tight ends, whether it be the running backs. Honestly, There were one-on-ones, and those tackles did their job, stepped up, and did what they needed to do, kept him off, and kept him away from me. And that is another huge aspect: protection. Dak played against a formidable front, and he highlighted how the offensive line, along with tight ends and running backs, did a solid job of giving him the time and space to operate. We played on time and got the ball out. Receivers got to their spots that allowed me to play on time, he explained. That synchronization is essential for this offense to click, especially when trying to capitalize on big plays and sustain drives. You know what makes this team so exciting is the resilience Dak talked about. Even with just 4 weeks into the season, he feels like they're restarting to figure out who they are. They're still a young team, but they're regaining experience, and that is invaluable. We were starting to figure out who we are in a sense on both sides. It is all about playing complementary ball and making sure we get a win, whatever it takes to get a win. He said that attitude, that mindset of doing whatever it takes, is what separates good teams from great ones. And speaking of those clutch moments, Dak was asked about the final seconds of the game. The team led with just 43 seconds left, and he said, "I love it. It is the game of football. You be playing against the best, and that means you've got to play your best when needed. Thankful for these opportunities, especially when you miss ball, have been hurt, and had to sit there and watch it. You want to be in those positions. You don't want to watch this. Other people actually can be in those positions. And not only that, but that just helps you. That experience makes you better for more of those to come. It has fun. It has part of it. I believe in my defense, and they were going to stop it and make the play." That is the mentality of a leader, always trusting his teammates, always believing they can come through in the clutch. Now, let us get into some of those specific plays that had everyone on the edge of their seats. That 3rd and goal play in overtime, where Dak looked for his tight end Jake Ferguson, was a critical moment. Dak admitted, "Yeah, no, I did look at it later, and then when it's on the tablet, just one of those of did it come open late." Obviously, Ivy got other reads, and he asked more of a check down there. Could I have scrambled? Could I have extended the play? But you got points in your back pocket that you don't want to extend the play and risk a turnover. So, I am not upset with the decision I made by any means. But 100 of whether it's a 3rd down in the 3rd quarter, there's always plays that you look back that you want, and especially when you don't win, and even when you win, and damn sure when you don't. That kind of self-awareness and accountability is what makes Dak such a high caliber quarterback. And let us not forget the incredible performances from some of the younger guys stepping up when CD Lamb was out. George Pickens, who has been impressive all camp, made some huge plays, including a touchdown right before overtime and a clutch sideline catch in the game's early stages. Dak praised him. Yeah, no surprises. Honestly, I am super proud of him. He played just as I expected him to play. And what I was most impressed about is just the way that he was focused and locked in the game, the whole game. And not only just locked in doing everything that he needed to do and do it right, but just the conversations he is having in the huddle, uplifting other guys, saying the right things to keep guys focused and keep guys staying in the moment and being present. And not only was he saying it, he was doing it himself and being an example, and made play after play to big play after big play to give us a chance. That kind of leadership from a young receiver is exactly what the Cowboys need to keep thriving. Jalen Talbot also had his moments, making a spectacular sideline catch that showed his trust in Dak and his ability to make plays under pressure. Dak recounted, "Yeah, I had a little pressure, got up right, went up and then out to my right, and at that point, he was pretty much the only one that was available to throw the ball to. And I saw how deep they were in the end zone, and I knew I couldn't get it all the way there. And so I made a play like that a couple years back to CD. It was just more like I'm going to throw this short and towards the sideline where either he going to get or nobody else going to get it, because I know he going to react to it first. So I threw it, and the rest was him. Honestly, it was a hell of a catch. An amazing job of keeping both feet in bounds." That kind of trust, that chemistry is what makes Dak and these young receivers such a dangerous combination. Now, when you look at the bigger picture, this team is showing signs of being a real playoff contender. The resilience, the talent, the experience. Even in a game that ended in a tie, there are so many positives to take away. Dak emphasized that this season is still in its early stages and there is plenty of room for growth. We were still only 4 weeks into the season. So we were almost done with this first quarter of it. We were starting to figure out who we are in a sense on both sides. It is all about playing complementary ball and making sure we get a win, whatever it takes to get a win. And that is exactly the mindset that will carry them through the tough weeks ahead. Of course, every game teaches you something, and Dak isn't shy about pointing out where improvements can be made. He mentioned the need to start faster on offense and be more consistent from the opening snap. Start faster on offense and do things like we've done this week and other than last week. We can be an explosive team. He said that focus on execution on details is what separates good teams from great ones. And with a defense led by Micah Parsons, who has been relentless in his pursuit of the quarterback, the Cowboys have all the ingredients to become a true powerhouse. Speaking of Micah, yes, still angry about last season as playoff exit and is eager to make a statement this year. Dak talked about how the defense rallies and how they relearning to play together. I actually didn't see what happened on that interception, but with Diggs, that interception, the effort and energy they were playing with, that's what we need. When we keep playing the way we playing, rallying to the ball, great effort, turnovers will come, Dak said. And that is the key, forcing turnovers, creating chaos, and turning defense into offense. Looking ahead, Dak is optimistic about what this team can become. He believes they're capable of explosive plays, of being a monster, and of winning games in a variety of ways. Confidence is building, and he is already thinking about the future. We can be explosive. We can be a monster team. We get some stops in the way this offense is playing. Defense can slow down. They were playing good defense. It is just the big plays here and there that put them behind. And now their backs are against the wall and they ray in the red zone. That is the mindset of a champion, always looking for ways to improve, always trusting the teammates around him. Now I want to talk about some of the standout performances from the game. George Pickens, who has been a revelation, was just fantastic. His focus, his ability to make plays in tight coverage, and his leadership on the field stood out all night. Dak praised his effort, calling him just as I expected him to play, and emphasizing how he has been a consistent threat all camp and throughout his career. Pickens showed maturity beyond his years, making big catches and keeping the Cowboys' offense afloat when it mattered most. And then there is Jalen Talbert, who has been waiting for his moment. That sideline catch was a thing of beauty, a perfect example of trust, timing, and technique. Dak explained how he saw the coverage and knew the ball had to be placed just right. I knew I couldn't get it all the way there, so I made a play like that a couple of years back to CD. Dak said, it was just more like I'm going to throw this short and towards the sideline where either he is going to get it or nobody else. Going to get it because I know he is going to react to it first. That is the kind of chemistry that develops when players work together, trust each other, and understand each other as strengths. As we analyze this game, it is evident that the Cowboys are building something special. The resilience, the talent, and the willingness to learn from tough moments are all signs of a team that is headed in the right direction. They're still figuring out their identity, but each game adds a new chapter to this story of growth. Dak's leadership combined with the rising stars like Pickens and Tolbert and the relentless defense, led by Micah Parsons, gives fans hope that this team can make a real run, perhaps even beyond the NFC East. And let us not forget the NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint. Every game, every play, every decision counts. Dak leadership and the team's resilience will be tested again and again. But what is clear is that they've got the talent, the mindset, and the drive to face whatever comes next. These moments, tough as they are what forge champions. And based on what we saw Sunday, the Cowboys are learning, adapting, and growing into that championship caliber team we all believe they can be. Now, I want to switch gears a little and talk about the division. The NFC East has been one of the most competitive divisions in recent years, with teams like the Eagles, Giants, and Redskins constantly battling for supremacy. But this season, the Cowboys seem to be positioning themselves as serious contenders. The game against Green Bay showed their grit, their ability to fight until the last second, and their potential to be a dominant force. With Dak leading the offense, Micah Parsons and the defense creating chaos, and young players stepping up, they're rebuilding a foundation for sustained success. The coaching staff, especially head coach Mike McCarthy, has been emphasizing resilience, execution, and mental toughness. After that game, McCarthy praised his team's effort, saying, "We've got a lot to build on, a lot to learn from. The resilience they showed tonight is a testament to their character. We'll take the positives, learn from the negatives, and come back stronger next week. That is the kind of leadership that keeps a team motivated during the tough times. It is about growth, about pushing forward, and about trusting the process. And what about the fans? Oh, Cowboys Nation, your passion and energy are unmatched. This team thrives because of your unwavering support, your cheers, your voice echoing through at T Stadium. Every game is a new chapter in this ongoing story, and your energy fuels the players to give their best. The atmosphere Sunday was electric, and even in the tie, the fans remained hopeful and loud. That is what makes Cowboys football so special: the unity, the tradition, the relentless pursuit of greatness. Looking ahead, there are still questions to answer. Can this team tighten up their red zone efficiency? Can they start faster and sustain their intensity throughout the game? Will the defense continue to force turnovers and create chaos? Those are the keys moving forward. But if Dak Prescott and the leadership group can keep this level of effort, this focus, and this resilience, there is no reason to believe they can turn close games into wins and learn from the tough moments, like this tie. In the end, the big takeaway from this game is that the Cowboys are on an upward trajectory. They've faced adversity, fought in the trenches, and shown that they can compete with the best. The season is still young, and there is plenty of football left to be played. But if they keep building on what they did Sunday, if they keep trusting each other, and if Dak continues to lead with that mix of skill and mental toughness, I believe we'll be talking about a team that is not just making the playoffs, but making a real run at the NFC Championship and beyond. So fans, keep the faith, stay loud, and keep supporting this team, because the journey is just beginning, and the Dallas Cowboys are proving every week that they are not just here to participate. They are here to dominate. The best is yet to come, and I can't wait to see what they do next. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What is your take on this game? Do you think this team has what it takes to go all the way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys, and don't forget, it'll back soon with more updates, more analysis,